Gee whiz.
Hello, friends. My name is John Henderson. Welcome to this series of old-time radio show episodes called Gee Whiz. These are the stories of the schemes, trials, and loves of the typical American teenagers, Andy Hardy, Archie Andrews, and Henry Aldrich. Coming up, things get a little bit political. But first, a fun episode of The Aldrich Family. This is everything that I love about the Aldrich Family series. It brings back my teenage years with all the excitement and nervousness, mischief and trouble. This episode is from March 2nd, 1944.
Henry Aldrich! Coming, Mother!
The Aldrich Family, a special rebroadcast for you soldiers, sailors, and Marines of the United Nations.
They say that when you grow out of the teenage, it's like being expelled from paradise. You can't ever go back. But you can recall that time of your life in the misadventures of Henry Aldrich. The scene opens in a neighbor's living room.
Look out, Henry, look out. You don't know how to work it.
Homer, will you please keep your hands off this darn thing?
Won't you even let me pump it?
Sure, I'll let you pump it when it's your turn. Now, just keep your feet out of the way.
See that, Henry? See that? You don't even know how to start it.
I do, too. Now, look out. Boy, Homer, how do you like it? How do you like it?
What's so wonderful about that, Henry? I can put more power into it than you can.
Oh, gee whiz. Homer, did you push something? What'd you do that for?
I didn't do anything, Henry.
Are you getting along all right, boys?
Why, yes, fine, Miss Sparrow. Fine.
Are you sure you know how to play a piano?
Oh, yes, sure. We're just trying to find which...
Now, here, let's see whether you have this roll of music in right.
The trouble doesn't seem to be with the music, Miss Sparrow. It's more down here around Henry's feet.
Yes? Now, wait a minute. This lever here is what you started with.
Oh, that.
And if you want it to go faster, you press this.
Oh, yes. Here we go, Homer.
Oh, you're doing beautifully. If you need any help, just call.
Yes, Miss Sparrow. Oh, gee whiz.
Why did it slow down, Henry? Let me play.
I've got it under control, Homer. Now, listen, Homer, that's a nice thing to do. Push me right off somebody's piano stool.
I didn't push. I just wanted to sit down and play it.
Boy, you might have broken my ankle.
Listen, Henry, which did she say was the lever to start this?
You go ahead and figure it out for yourself. Gee whiz.
Is this what I press, Henry?
Imagine, you've taken piano lessons all this time, and you don't even know how to play a player piano.
Just as if I didn't know. Oh, gee whiz.
See that? It's going backwards.
I like it backwards.
What do you like about it? Listen, Homer, you shouldn't throw it from reverse to high like that.
Henry, look at me take the curve.
Hey, stop. Homer, stop.
What's the matter? I'm not breaking it.
But look out the window. Who's coming down the street?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy, Henry.
Who is she, Homer? Who is she?
That's Ethel Moffat. And, boy, is she a good-looking girl.
Is that Ethel Moffat? Why, I didn't recognize her.
Of course you didn't. She took the bands off her teeth last week. Boy, I've been trying to get a date with her ever since. Do you know her real well, Henry? Because if you do, boy...
Sure, I know her. Sure, I know her. Wait till I open the window.
Ask her in.
Ethel!
Hello?
Hello, come on in.
Oh, I can't, Henry. I've got to go down to the store. What are you doing?
Homer's playing the piano.
Who is?
My friend. Homer, come on over here to the window a minute. I want you to meet somebody that's outside.
Who, me, Henry?
Ethel, this is Mr. Brown in here.
Hello. I'm pleased to meet you, Miss Brown. I didn't know you played the piano.
Oh, sure, he plays. Homer, go on back and play that piece for him.
Now, listen, Henry.
Go ahead, don't be bashful. I'll listen to you from out here on the lawn. I'm crazy about music.
You are? Well, okay, maybe I will.
Play it loud, Homer, so she can hear it out there on the lawn. Hear that, Ethel?
My goodness, she's wonderful.
Hey, Homer, give it the words.
Okay.
My goodness, I never heard anything like it.
Didn't I tell you? Hey, Homer, play it fast.
Okay.
Gee, Ethel, isn't he good?
It's beautiful.
There, that's all I'm going to play. My feet hurt.
What'd she say?
Sally's going to play.
Goodness, Homer, I didn't dream you were so musical.
You didn't?
Did you know I play the violin?
You do? Look, how'd you like to go to the movies tonight?
Oh, I don't think I could go tonight very well. But I'd be glad to have you come over to my house if you'd like to.
Okay, sure.
And maybe you could play the piano a little.
At your house?
Yes, sure. Why don't you go, Homer, and play for us?
Now listen, Henry.
Gee whiz, you can play duet.
A duet? Homer, do you know the Blue Danube?
The Blue Danube?
I play that.
Sure, Homer can play anything.
Listen, Henry, I cannot.
You've been taking lessons for 10 years, Homer.
That's only because my mother's stubborn.
Homer, I guess you're stubborn, too. You just gotta come and we'll have a whole night of music.
I know, but gee whiz, listen.
Mary, could you come into the living room a minute, please?
Just a minute, Henry.
I'm telling you, Henry, I'm telling you, it's no use.
Listen, Homer, you're crazy about the girl, aren't you? And you want her to like you, don't you?
Well, why can't she take me for myself without my piano?
What is it you want, Henry? What's the matter with Homer?
Mary, can you teach Homer how to play the Blue Danube?
I guess I could. Homer, could you come over sometime?
I'm here.
What's that?
I've got to learn it by tonight, Mary.
The Blue Danube by tonight?
Yes, he's got to play it for the Moffat family.
What's that?
For the Moffats. Homer's crazy about the oldest girl.
Homer, you can read music, can't you?
Not anything that's any good. My teacher's always kept me in the classics.
She has.
Sure. For 2 years, the only thing I've even been allowed to touch is Paderewski's Minuet.
All right, then. Why not play that?
I can. Gee whiz, do you think I'm a genius?
And besides, Mary, the special request is the Blue Danube.
Sure. The only thing I can play is this.
Go on.
That's all there is.
Homer, you mean after 10 years, that's all you can play?
Henry, don't you understand? Up until this happened to me, I didn't have any interest in music.
Well, my goodness, Homer, if you can play that much, you can certainly play the Blue Danube. Here, I'll show you. See that? It's easy.
Is that all there is to it? Go on, play some more. Whoa, gee, I ought to be able to do that. How do I start?
Here, Homer, give me your left hand.
My left, Mary? My left isn't as good as my right, my teacher says.
Well, we'll start with the left. Now, Homer, you try it alone.
Sure, Homer.
Okay. Is that right?
Henry!
Wait a minute, Homer. Homer!
Henry!
Yes, Father?
What's going on down there?
Why, Mary's helping Homer get ready for the Moffat.
It's what?
The Moffat. He met Ethel.
Well, whatever it is, tell him to stop it.
Listen, Mary, there's no sense in your trying to teach me.
But we've just started.
I know, but look how long my teacher's been working on me. Henry, please call Ethel and tell her I'm sick.
Why? Gee whiz, after fixing this whole date up for you? Homer, if you don't go over there and play, you'll just make me look ridiculous.
Well, how do you think you'll look if I do play?
Mother, I can't do it. I can't possibly do it. And Homer plays the piano so beautifully.
No, Ethel, I'm sure you'll understand. And it'll be very good practice for you to play with someone who really knows music. Now, put your violin under your chin and follow me.
Mother, I can't possibly do it.
But of course you can, dear. No great violinist ever talks while he's playing. Ethel, why did you tell Homer you'd play with him?
Because, Mother, I think he's the nicest boy I ever met, and I must have just lost my head.
Well, that's certainly quite a way to lose your head.
Would you like to look at the evening paper, Sam?
No, thanks, Alice. I have something else to read here. Where's Henry?
He went out a little while ago.
Well, Alice, do you mind if I bring up an old question once more?
What's the matter, Sam?
Do you really feel that Henry gets very much from his association with Homer?
Why, Sam Aldrich, do you realize how many worthwhile things Homer is really interested in?
Frankly, no.
Why, he loves music. And tonight he's going over to call on some girl that likes music just as much as he does.
Yes?
Mother?
Yes, Mary?
You know who it was Henry was talking to on the phone just before he went out?
No, I don't, Mary. Why do you ask?
Why, Mother, he was talking very low and making plans to do something I just know he shouldn't be doing.
What's that, Mary?
Yes, he was, Father. I heard him say he'd be in somebody's house right across the street from someplace looking out the window. And if somebody got into some kind of trouble, he was to go to the window and pull down the shade, and Henry would see it and do something.
Mary, may I ask what it is you're talking about?
Now, Sam, the whole thing is perfectly clear. If Henry had gone with Homer instead of where he has gone, you wouldn't be sitting here worrying about what he's going to get into.
won't you come in?
Good evening, Mrs. Moffat.
Oh, we're so glad to see you. I don't know when we've looked forward to anything so much as we have to your coming over tonight.
You have?
Yes. Now, won't you take your things off?
Why, I don't think there's any sense in taking them off.
Oh, you can't play with your coat and gloves on. Here, let me have them.
Well,
Hello there, young man.
oh, hello, Mr. Moffat.
Well, they tell me you're something pretty special on the piano, my boy.
They do? Well, gee, I'm not really that good, Mr.
Well,
Moffat.
come on, let's go in the living room.
Is Ethel here?
Ethel?
Ethel? Oh, yes, my goodness, where is she? Ethel! She had a splitting headache before dinner. Oh, Ethel!
Oh, well, look, in that case, don't you think I might just as well go? I mean...
Mother, is he here? Oh, Homer, I didn't realize you were here.
Gee whiz, Ethel, I was
I
hoping...
have the worst news for you, Homer.
You have?
What do you think happened? I just discovered a few minutes ago that every string on my violin is broken.
It is? I mean, they are? Boy.
But now, Ethel, they couldn't be all broken.
Yes, they are, Mother.
Well, that doesn't make any difference. Right over there in that table drawer, there are a lot of strings.
Not anymore, Father. They all got thrown out by accident.
Well, that's too bad. Let's go to a movie.
Now, young man, we've heard Ethel play the violin, but we've never heard you play the piano. Come on, sit down now and give us a treat.
Yes, dear.
Well,
Now, go on, Homer.
well... Gee whiz.
Is something the matter, Homer?
No.
Well, Homer, that was very good.
You like that? Would you excuse me a minute while I pull the window shade down?
The shade? What do you have to do that for?
The street light outside, it's shining in my eyes.
Oh, I didn't realize. Of course.
Do I hear anything?
Do you hear anything, Homer? What is it?
Wait, isn't that strange? I thought I heard the telephone.
Really? Steve, did you hear the phone?
No, and I don't believe Homer could have heard it either. The phone's been out of order all evening.
It's out of order? And you mean... Oh, boy.
Homer, were you expecting a call?
Why, no, just in a way I was.
Now, come on, Homer. Let's hear the Blue Danube. You didn't need coaxing like this morning. My goodness, you just ripped right into that piano.
Oh, I don't need coaxing. It's just...
Now, young man, all I've heard all day is Ethel telling how you know your music. Now, come on.
I know, but...
Where are you going now, Homer?
That window shade is hanging crooked. I want to let it up and pull it down again.
Oh, Homer, did you hurt yourself?
I'm all right.
Steve, get the poor boy out from under that shade.
I can't get out from under it, Mrs. Moffat. Gee whiz.
Homer, what are you waving that rat in front of the window for?
Oh, am I waving it?
Yes, dear, and if I were you, I'd put it down before you break it.
Yes, ma'am. Gee whiz. Well, I guess you want me to play the piano, don't you?
That's right.
Well... Did I hear something?
Just the piano, dear.
There it is.
Yeah, that's the doorbell.
It is? It's the doorbell?
Father, whoever it is, don't answer the door until Homer is playing.
Now, Ethel, we can't do a thing like
Oh,
that.
all right, I'll go to the door. But, Homer, don't play till I get back.
I won't.
Hello, what's the matter with your telephone? I mean, where's Homer? Where is he?
Why, Henry, he's in the living room.
Oh, hello, Henry. Boy, isn't this a coincidence?
Listen, Homer, I've been trying to get you on the phone. You've got to come out with me right away.
I have? Okay, where's my coat?
Now, Henry, Homer's just starting to play. You can't have him till he's finished.
But, Homer, you should have been out here long ago.
Is it something pretty serious, Henry?
Boy, I'll say. Now, get your things on. Well, we'll just have to take Ethel's word for it, Homer, about how well you can play. Oh, gee, Mrs. Moffat, you don't have to worry about that. Boy, when Homer sits down at the piano...
Come on, Henry.
Do you know how long he studied music, Mrs. Moffat? 10 years.
10 years?
That's right, Mr. Moffat. That gives you some idea.
Come on, Henry.
And, gee, you ought to hear him tearing a Paderewski's minuet. Really?
Henry, will you come on?
Goodbye, Homer.
Goodbye.
Nice young man.
Yes, Steve. You know what I think? The program committee has been trying to get somebody for the women's club meeting this Friday, and he's the very person for us to have.
Oh, Mother, that'd be wonderful.
We're going to have some readings, and Mrs. Hardy's going to give a talk on native flowers, and a solo from Homer would be just the thing to top it all off.
We'll be back with the Aldrich family in just a moment. Right now it's intermission, and time for our intermission guest, the one and only Tommy Dorsey. Okay, Tommy?
Now getting back to the troubles of Henry Aldrich and his friend Homer Brown. Just because Homer led his girl into believing he was musically inclined when he was really operating a neighbor's automatic player piano, he has now received an invitation to play a solo at a meeting of the local women's club. The scene opens in Homer's living room. His mother is speaking.
Homer, I don't want to hear the subject even mentioned again.
Yes, Mother.
You're going to play at that meeting of the women's club, and you're going to do a very nice job of it.
But, Mother, why not look at it this way? Doing a thing like this to me could make me hate music forever.
Homer, do you realize what this whole thing means to me? For 10 years I've been coaxing you. I've been begging you to keep on with your lessons. And now, right out of the clear sky, somebody suddenly appreciates you, and you want to say no to them.
But don't you realize Miss Snyder gave me up as hopeless? She said she wouldn't even give me lessons anymore.
And that's why I want you to go into this concert with your chin out and show Miss Snyder.
Oh, boy.
Well, now, don't take that attitude, dear. When I think of all the money we've poured into Miss Snyder.
Oh, boy.
And before you do anything, please answer the phone.
Yes, Mother. Hello?
Hello, Homer. This is Henry.
Gee whiz, where are you?
I'm down at Robinson's music store. I think I found something for you.
What is it?
It's called Learn to Play the Professional Way in Less Than a Day.
What's that? In less than a day?
Sure, and you've got a day and a half. Boy, you're sitting pretty.
Well, gee. Does it cover the Blue Danube?
Wait a minute. I'll look in the book and see. No, there's no Blue Danube.
None at all?
It gives you Mary Had Little Lamb.
What's that?
And Flow Jelly Sweet Afton.
But no Blue Danube.
What's the difference, Homer? The Sweet Afton's a river.
But the point is, Henry, I've started to learn the Blue Danube, and I don't want to switch rivers practically in the middle of a concert, do I?
Homer!
Just a minute, Henry. Yes, Mother?
Could you answer the door, please?
Okay, Henry, I've got to go. Goodbye.
Homer, I thought I asked you to start your practicing.
Mother, I was talking on the telephone. I was trying to make a decision about which river.
Oh, hello there, Mrs. Brown. Hello, Homer. Oh, hello, Mrs. Moffat. Won't you come in?
Hello, Mrs. Moffat.
My goodness, I've never been so upset in my life. I came right over to tell you. Really? What's the matter, Mrs. Moffat?
I don't know what we're going to do. We've sent the announcements out for the program and everything, and now I learn that we can't have any piano where we're meeting.
What's that? No piano? Well, gee,
Well,
no piano at all?
Well, really, Mrs. Moffat, I don't see how they can just calmly announce a thing like that when Homer's been planning to do this and getting ready for it ever since you invited him. Oh, why don't you go down to Robinson's music store and ask them to loan you a piano? They'd be glad to do it. They would.
Now, wait a minute, Mother. I mean, how would you get the piano over there?
Your father can loan you one of his trucks. And you can get Henry and some of the other boys to help you move.
I know, but...
Now, Homer, where there's a will, there's a way. You're going to get that piano, and you're going to play.
Sam, will you have some bacon?
No, thank you, Alice.
Now, dear, don't sit there and sulk just because I want you to go to that concert this afternoon.
Alice, I am not sulky. I simply want to point out that you're asking me to sit through a program in which I'll hear some readings, a talk on native plants, and Homer Brown play the piano.
But, Father, it's for charity.
Yes, and I've supported that charity nobly for 7 years, but this is asking too much.
Hi, Henry.
Gee whiz, Homer, is that you?
Yes, sure.
Good morning, Homer. This must be quite a day for you.
Boy, I'll say. I didn't sleep a wink last night.
We're all looking forward to that concert.
You are? Hello, Mr. Aldrich.
Good morning.
Henry, could I use your phone a second?
Sure, come on out here in the hall.
Will you have some breakfast, Homer?
No, thanks. I couldn't eat a thing.
Who are you going to call, Homer? Who are you going to call?
Ethel's mother. There's just one possible chance. Hello?
Number, please.
Elm 212.
Elm 212.
Henry, come back and finish your breakfast.
Yes, Mother. Homer, I'll be right back.
Hello? Is this you, Ethel? This is Homer.
Oh, hello, Homer.
Look, could you tell your mother it looks as though we can't have the piano?
Oh, my goodness, why not?
Well, we can't use my father's truck, see? It's a pretty new one, see? And, well, he's afraid the piano would scratch it.
Homer, what are we going to do?
Well, what I was going to suggest was, why don't you play the violin?
Oh, I? Play the violin?
Sure, at least you wouldn't have to haul it in the truck. And listen, Ethel, would you like to go to the movies tonight?
To the movies?
Sure, but I don't think I better call for you. I'll meet you down at the movies, see?
Oh, but Homer.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hey, Henry.
Homer, did you get it all fixed?
Boy, I'll say. Boy.
Homer, are you sure you won't have a little breakfast with us?
Wait, as a matter of fact, Mrs. Aldrich, I think I would enjoy a little.
Well, dear, you take this plate out in the kitchen. You'll find some scrambled eggs.
And get me some, too, Homer.
Okay. Boy, do you know how I suddenly feel? I never felt better in my life.
What happened to Homer?
Sam, I think Homer has a right to feel rather pleased with himself today. Now, Henry, don't you wish you'd gone on with your music as I begged you to do?
Well,
Down in the bottom of your heart, Henry, don't you wish just a bit you were in Homer's shoes?
well,
And, Sam, it's really your fault as much as it is Henry's.
My fault.
Yes, dear. If you'd backed me up 5 years ago, then you'd be hearing Henry instead of Homer when you go to that concert this afternoon.
What do you mean when I go to it?
I'll answer the phone.
As a matter of fact, Henry, I think it's a shame for you not to try the piano once more.
Hello?
Hello. I want to speak to Homer Brown.
To who? To Homer?
Yes, sir, to Homer.
Hey, Homer!
Why, Henry, what is it?
You weren't on the telephone.
Gee, it isn't Ethel's mother, is it?
No, it's some man.
Well, here, hold my eggs. Hello?
Homer, may I ask just what this is all about?
What's that? Who is this?
It's your father. Have you been spreading rumors behind my back?
Spreading what, Father?
When did I ever tell you that I was afraid a piano would scratch my trunk?
Oh, did they say that?
Mrs. Mother just phoned me here at the house. And, Homer, your mother says you're going to get the boys together and go down to Robinson's music store and get that piano. Understand?
Yes, Father.
And you're going to play at that concert. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Father.
Here are your eggs, Homer.
My eggs? What would I do with those?
Listen to. In fact, up to now, we've enjoyed our entire program, I'm sure. Before introducing the next number, however, there will have to be, I'm afraid, a slight intermission of half a minute or so. So if you'll just excuse me, I'll have to step backstage and make sure about something.
Sam, what do you suppose the trouble is?
Alice, why did we have to sit right down here in the front row?
Because, dear, I thought it would please Homer's mother.
Look at Will Brown over there in the next row. Anyone would think Homer was something wonderful.
Now, Sam, can you blame him? Perhaps a year from now you'll feel just as proud as he does.
Why do you say that?
You see Miss Snyder over there? I just had a talk with her, Sam, and she's promised to come over to the house tomorrow so Henry can start his lessons again.
What's that, Alice?
Now then, ladies and gentlemen, I may as well tell you quite frankly what the trouble was. For some reason, the piano we're trying to borrow was not delivered when it should have been. However, I'm very pleased to announce that I have some good news for you. The boys have arrived with the piano, and if you'll bear with us for another half-minute, they'll roll it onto the stage.
Sam, there's Henry.
I see him. Don't point, Alice. After all he's doing is pushing the piano.
I know, dear, but he hasn't any necktie on.
Alice, why doesn't Homer help push the piano?
Because he's probably saving himself.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure we're all going to have a great deal of pleasure in listening to one of our town's forthcoming musicians, shall I say, Homer Brown, whose selection will be The Blue Danube by Strauss. But perhaps I should say by J. Strauss. Homer, I'll turn the rest of our program over to you.
This rebroadcast of the Aldrich family is a presentation of the Armed Forces Radio Service.
That was the Aldrich family from 1944, and now the Archies.
Times have changed in many ways, and 17 ain't young.
It's tax season, and in 1951, the average American family made little more than $6,000 a year and paid about $1,290 in taxes. Here's Archie from March 10th, 1951.
Hello?
Hello, Jughead. This is Archie. Come over right away. It's a matter of life or death.
Oh, relax, Archie. Relax.
Yes, here he is again, the youngster millions of readers of Archie Comics magazine know and love so well, Archie Andrews and all his gang. And now for our weekly visit to Riverdale. It's late Saturday morning as we look in on the Andrews home, and we find Mr. Andrews in the living room seated at his desk, just completing a job that millions of American fathers had to do this week. He's making out his income tax report.
Oh, and that's that. Wow. I thought I'd never get it finished. I'd make these forms any more complicated. It'd be simpler not to earn any money at all. Ooh, and this check, it hurts my wallet just to look at it. Oh, well, taxes got to be paid. I'll just sign this form. Put the check in with the form. There. I'll put it in the envelope. And yeah. And it's over and done with. Mary!
Yes, dear.
Well, finally finished.
Finished with what?
With what I've been working on all morning, of course, my income tax.
Oh, that. Fred, I'm much too busy to talk about little things like income taxes.
Little things like income taxes. Mary, if you saw the size of the check I just had to write to Uncle Sam, you wouldn't think it was little. Well, you know how much I had
Yes, dear, yes, but I'm in a hurry right now. I'm going to the Women's League luncheon today.
Yes, dear. But if you knew how much
And I promised Mrs. Lodge I'd get there early and help the committee.
But if you knew how much
And I'm late now, and I still have to put my hat on.
But if you knew how much
So I can't possibly stand around discussing income taxes now, or I'll never get to that luncheon.
Mary, don't you want to know how much I had to pay?
Later, dear, when I get back from the luncheon.
Oh, all right, Mary, all right. Go to your old luncheon. Is Archie home?
He should be up in his room, Fred, and please stop calling me. I'm busy.
Yes, dear. She's busy. Archie! Archie? Archie!
Dad, is somebody calling me?
Oh, great. No, Archie, no. Somebody is not calling you. I am calling you.
Oh, you?
Yes, come down here, please.
Oh, okay, Dad, I'll be right there.
That boy, you scream your head off for him, and he says, "Is somebody calling me?" Oh, I don't know.
Hiya, Dad. What did you want?
Archie, I want you to do me a favor. Go mail this letter to the tax collector.
Gee whiz, Dad, now?
Yes, Archie, now. It'll just
Gee whiz,
take
Dad,
me...
I don't want to go way down to the post office
But
now.
I-
All morning long, I've done nothing but run errands. I had to
Archie,
go to the store twice for Mom,
I wa-
3 times for myself, and then
But
I
I
had to
wa-
put all the papers in the tin cans out for the
Archie!
and then I went...
All right. I understand that you've had to go to the store half a dozen times. But this is my income tax, and it's very important. And it's got to be mailed right away. Now, you don't have to take it to the post office. Just take it down to the corner mailbox. And I won't ask you to run any more errands after this.
Promise?
Cross my heart and hope to die.
Well, it's a deal, Dad. I'll go mail the letter.
Thank you. Oh, but Archie,
Yes, Dad?
don't stop and get into any ball games now or lose that letter or anything. It's important, so get it mailed.
I will, Dad. I will.
Oh, that boy. Getting him to do anything is
Well,
just like...
I'm all set to go, dear. But, Fred, is this new hat look all right?
Yes, dear, it looks lovely. New hat. Mary, another new hat?
Yes, dear. Do you like it?
Mary, I like it, love it, and adore it, but I can't afford it.
Can't afford it. Fred, I had to have something decent to wear to this luncheon.
Mary,
Every other woman will be there with a new dress and a new
Mary,
hat.
I-
But I suppose you want me to go dressed in old rags.
Mary,
I don't care what I look like in public.
Mary! All right, dear, I understand. I do not want you to go dressed in old rags, and I do like you to look well in public. All I'm saying is that you spend entirely too much money on hats.
Oh, is that so? Well, how much do you think I've spent on hats in the past year?
About $500 at least. Good grief.
Oh, Fred, what is it?
$500. I forgot all about it.
Fred, I don't spend anywhere near that.
Mary, I know. I'm not talking about your hats. I'm talking about my income tax.
Income tax?
Yes, I just remembered that we gave $500 to churches and charities this year, and I forgot to deduct it from my income.
Are you supposed to?
Yes, you certainly are supposed to make every deduction that you're entitled to. And we gave that money to legitimate charities, and that's a tax-deductible item that would have saved me at least $50 in taxes.
And you forgot about it.
I not only forgot about it, I just sent Archie out to mail the return. Oh, boy, $50 out of the window. $50 beautiful dollars. Oh, well,
Fred, where are you going?
I'm going to try to catch Archie. If he stopped to talk to somebody like he usually does, maybe I can catch him before he mails that form and save myself $50.
Well, Dad, I mailed your letter.
What? Archie, tell me you didn't.
Huh?
Archie, please tell me you forgot to mail it. Or you mailed the wrong letter, or it's still in your pocket or something.
Gee whiz, Dad, you yourself told me to get it mailed right away, so I did.
Oh, no. $50 lost and gone forever.
Huh?
I just remembered a deduction I could have taken that would have saved me at least $50. But now it's too... Hey, wait a minute.
Well, what's the matter?
Nothing's the matter. I just thought of a way I may be able to get that letter back.
How? It's in the mailbox now.
I know it, Archie, but we could go down there and wait for the mail pickup truck to get there, and maybe if I explain things to the mailman, he'll give me the letter back. Come on, Archie.
But, Fred, who knows when the truck will get there? You may have to wait hours.
Mary, for $50, I'd wait all night if I had to.
Not so fast, Dad. Not so fast.
Archie, I don't want to miss that pickup truck.
But, Dad, they always come past our house. We'd have seen them if they were here.
I know. I'm still not taking any chances. I'm missing that truck.
Well, Dad, here's the mailbox, and the truck isn't even in sight yet.
Oh, good. We made it. Now, Archie, look at the little card on the front of the mailbox and see what time it says the mail is picked up on Saturdays.
Gee whiz, Dad, there's no card here.
There isn't? Oh, fine. Well, I guess there's nothing to do but settle down for a nice, quiet wait. That's all.
Hello.
Oh, good grief. Jughead.
What'd you expect? The Pony Express?
No, Jughead, I did not expect the Pony Express, nor you either.
Gee whiz, Jug, what are you doing here?
I just came down to mail my father's income tax form and an empty envelope for my Uncle Herman.
An empty envelope for your Uncle Herman?
Yeah, no income.
Oh, great. Jughead, I am in no mood for your jokes right now. I've got to get a letter back.
Huh?
I came down to this mailbox to get a letter.
You came down to the mailbox to get a letter?
That's right.
Mr. Andrews, do you feel all right?
Yeah.
Jughead, look, what my father means is I just mailed his income tax form, and then he remembered he made a mistake in it, and now he wants to get the letter back.
That's right. In fact, I've got to get it back.
Gee, I don't blame you. Income tax evasion is a serious offense.
Well, Jug,
They gave Al Capone 11 years, you know.
Jughead,
When you get out, it's pretty tough to get a job.
Jug, please.
And you're not as young as you used to be.
Jughead, all right. Would you please stop putting me in prison?
Huh?
I did not make that kind of a mistake on my income tax. I paid the government more than I should have.
More than you should have?
Yes, $50 more than I should have.
Gee whiz, that's pretty silly.
Yes, Jug, it was.
Don't you know the value of money?
Yes, Jug,
Nobody goes around paying $50 more than they're supposed to.
Jug,
You'll never get rich doing things like that.
Jughead, I know that. And I know the value of money and that it was silly, and I do not need any lectures from you on the subject. The whole thing was an accident. You understand? I didn't mean to do it. And that's why I want to get the letter back.
Oh, I see.
I'm glad you do.
But how are you going to get a letter out of the mailbox?
I'm going to wait until the...
You can't even get your hand inside this slot.
I know, Jughead. I'm going to wait...
See, I can hardly get more than my fingers in there.
Jughead, what are you doing now? Get your hand out of that mailbox. You're not allowed to tamper with the mail. It's a federal offense. Now get your hand out of there before somebody sees you.
Gee whiz, Mr. Andrews, I would if I could.
All right. For a minute, I thought you said... You would if you could! Jughead, what are you talking about?
My fingers, they're stuck in there.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy, Jughead, how the dickens did you do that?
I don't know. They went in okay, but they won't come out.
Oh. Now he's done it. Jughead,
I'm trapped. Like a rat in a rat trap.
Jughead, don't
like a bear in a bear trap.
Jughead, please.
Like a mail in a mailbag. Get me out of here.
Jughead, will you please be quiet?
Oh, me?
Yes, you. You're not trapped like a rat. You're trapped like a foolish kid who put his hand in the mailbox. Now, if you'll just calm down, we'll get your hand out of there.
I'm calm.
Now, maybe if I take hold of his wrist and I could pull his fingers out.
Hey, that's a good idea, Dad.
Yeah, but don't break my wrist now.
Jughead, if I break anything, it will be after we get your hand out of this mailbox. How you ever got your fingers stuck in there, I'll never know. Even an idiot, even a moron, even a madman could know better than to catch his fingers in a mailbox slot. Good grief.
What's the matter, Dad?
Oh, I caught my fingers in there, too.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no, Dad, how did you do that?
Archie, how do I know how I did that?
Hey, Mr.
I
Andrews.
was just trying to get Jughead's hand out, and I got my hand stuck.
Mr. Andrews.
And don't ask so many foolish questions. Think of some way to get me out of here.
Mr. Andrews.
Hurry up before a policeman sees me and throws me in jail or something.
Mr. Andrews.
Well, what is it, Jughead?
I got my hand out.
I know that, and I'm very glad you got your hand out.
Uh-huh. See, 2 hands.
Oh, great. Jughead, how the dickens did you do that?
I pulled the slot down a little, and my hand came right out.
It worked. Well, my hand is out.
Oh, boy, that's swell, Dad. For a minute, I was afraid you'd be stuck there for hours.
Oh, Archie, so was I. But the fact is, we're unstuck now, and before anything else happens, I want to make it clear to both you kids, I want no more shenanigans from either one of you. Now, you understand? I want no more lectures or advice or demonstrations with mailboxes. We are just going to wait right here until that pickup truck comes along and nothing else. Now, you hear?
Yes, Dad.
Yes, Mr. Andrews. But, Mr. Andrews,
Yes, Jughead.
the pickup truck won't be here for hours.
How do you know that?
Because it was here just a minute before you and Archie got here.
Yes, Jughead, I know perfectly well that it was here before we got here. Jughead, are you sure?
Positive. I had to run like the dickens to catch it and took all the letters and drove off.
I took all the letters and Oh, Jughead, you know something.
Yes, Mr. Andrews?
It's a good thing for you this mailbox is so small, because if it weren't, I'd put a stamp on you and mail you off to the North Pole. Special delivery.
Gee, I'm sorry. I didn't remember about the pickup truck sooner, Mr. Andrews.
Oh, Jug, forget it. That truck won't get to the post office much before we do, and maybe we can still talk him into giving me that letter back.
Oh, there's the post office now, Dad.
Good. Come on. We have to get in there and get that letter back before it gets dumped in with millions of others and gets shipped out of town.
Archie!
Gee whiz, there's Betty.
Oh, fine. Archie, we have no time to talk to Betty now, so...
Hello, Archie. Hello, Jack. Hello, Mr.
Hi,
Andrews.
Betty.
Hi, Betty.
Hello, Betty. Now, Betty, look, we're in a little hurry right now. I have to get a letter back to the post office right away. So would you just come along and not stop to talk to us right now?
Oh, but
It's very important. I want to catch that letter before it gets shipped out.
But
So just come along like a good girl, and you can talk to Archie and Jughead after we get the letter back.
But, Mr. Andrews, the post office is closed.
Yeesh. Closed? It can't be.
But it is. I just came down here to buy some stamps, but it was closed when I got here.
Gee whiz, that's right, Dad. The post office always closes at 12 o'clock on Saturdays.
Gee, that's right.
Oh, no. I have to get that letter back. It's worth $50 to me, and you don't find that kind of money in the street.
No, you find it in the post office.
Jughead, this is no time for your jokes.
Golly, Mr. Andrews, I have an idea.
Yeah?
Maybe there's someone still working in there, even if the front door is locked. Lots of times they work in the back room sorting out the mail, even after the front part is closed.
Hey, that's right.
By George, it is.
So maybe if we went around to the back, you could get someone to open up and find your letter for you.
Betty, that's a wonderful idea. Come on, kids. We'll go around to the back and make them open up the post office. Betty, I'm glad you suggested that.
Oh, it wasn't anything, Mr. Andrews.
Oh, yes, it was. It might be worth $50 to me. Yes, sir. I'll just go knock on the back door and make them fine.
What's the matter, Dad?
Archie, this fence is the matter.
Fence. Oh, boy.
And those gates the trucks go through are locked.
They certainly are. They're a lot tighter than tight.
But how do the trucks deliver the mail?
Betty, I haven't any idea unless each driver has a key to these gates and he unlocks it when he drives up.
Gee whiz, and how are you going to get to that back door?
The vaguest idea of that, either.
Well, I have another good idea, Mr. Andrews.
Betty, there's no idea that's going to get rid of this iron fence.
Oh, this one will, Mr. Andrews. Why don't you have Archie and Jughead boost you over?
Boost? You mean climb the fence and then go knock on the back door?
Uh-huh.
Betty, that is a good idea.
Oh, gee whiz, Dad, I don't think you better try that.
Archie, for $50, I'd try anything. Now, look, you and Jug are going to boost me over this fence right now. Jug, you take one foot. Archie, you take the other.
Well, okay, Dad. Got it.
All right.
Got the
All
other.
right. Okay, now lift. Lift. Hey! Just a little higher. A little higher. Got it. Okay, let go now. I'll jump down the other side. Oh, I made it.
Atta Attaboy, Dad.
Attaboy, Mr. Andrews.
You kids wait right there now while I go to try the back door.
Okay, Dad, but hurry up.
This'll just take a minute, Archie. Hey there! Open up! Wait. Oh, good grief.
What's the matter, Dad?
There's no one in there.
Golly, are you sure?
I'm positive. I can see the entire back room and there's no one in there. We went to all this trouble for nothing.
Gee whiz, now what do we do?
Actually, there's only one thing left to do, and I'm getting just mad enough to do it. I'm going to get out of here and go straight to the postmaster's house and make him open the post office and find my letter for me.
Gee, do you think he will?
He'd better. After all, I'm a taxpayer like anybody else, and I have some rights. Yes, sir. I'll get out of here and we'll go see the postmaster.
How?
What do you mean, how? In my car. That's how.
I don't mean that. I mean, how are you going to get out of there?
Exactly the same way I got out of here. Oh, no. There's nobody here to boost me back up.
Oh, boy, we never thought of that.
Oh, golly. You're stuck again.
Archie, can you get your arms through the fence to boost me up?
Oh, not a chance, Dad. These bars are too close together.
Yeah? You look like a monkey in the zoo.
Drop Now, listen to me, you kids. Now, think of something quick. This is ridiculous. I can't stay locked up in this backyard of the post office. I've got to get out of here.
Well, Mr. Andrews, I have another good idea.
Yes, Betty, what is it?
If Jug had boosted Archie over,
Yes?
then Archie could boost you back out.
And then who'd boost me back out?
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Well, think of something.
Wait, I have another idea.
Yes?
If Jug boosts Archie over there,
Yes?
and Archie boosts you out,
Yes, yes.
and then you could boost Jug over there with Archie.
Yes, yes.
Then Jug would boost Archie out.
Who'll get me out?
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, Betty, that's no good either. Come on, you kids. Think of something.
Dad,
I can't stay in here all day.
Dad,
this is government property.
Dad,
I'll get arrested for trespassing or something.
Dad,
Well, what is it, Archie?
Well, I just noticed something.
What did you notice?
Well, you see way down the fence, that little gate where the post office employees go in and out?
Yes, I see it. What about it?
It's wide open.
I see that. It's wide open.
Oh, boy. Golly, it is open.
You mean to say I've been climbing this fence like a monkey for no reason at all?
Gee, it looks that way, Dad.
Well, that's fine. That's great. But, Betty...
Yes, Mr. Andrews?
If you get any more good ideas, do me a favor. Tell them to somebody else.
Golly, I'm sorry I caused all that trouble back at the post office, Mr. Andrews.
Oh, look, Betty, let's just forget about the post office. We have the postmaster's home address now, and the main thing is to go to see him, convince him to open the post office for me and find my letter.
Gee, do you think he will, Dad?
He might if I can explain the situation to him.
I think it's the next house, Mr. Andrews.
Yeah, you're right, Jughead, it is.
Gee whiz. This is just around the corner from Veronica's house, Dad.
Archie, I am not interested in Veronica right now. I want to see the postmaster and...
Oh, boy, there's Veronica now.
Now, Archie, look, I don't want to stop and talk to her now. Ask her
Hello,
to...
Mr. Andrews. Hello, Betty. Hello, Jughead.
Hello, Veronica.
And, hello, Archie.
Oh, fine. Look, Archie...
Hi, all Archiekins.
Archie, I want...
It's awful nice to see you all, Archie. Dear.
Archie, would you please stop that confounded giggling?
My goodness, is something the matter, Mr. Andrews?
No, Veronica, nothing is the matter. But I've got to see the postmaster right away, and according to the telephone book, he lives at this address.
Oh, that's right, he does. But I happen to
That's all I wanted to know. Now, you kids wait right here, and I'll go up and ring the bell.
But, Mr. Andrews,
There's no point in a whole herd of us dropping in the man.
But, Mr. Andrews,
Veronica, I'm sure whatever you have to tell me can wait till later. I want to get this letter business settled once and for all. Now, you kids wait right here.
But, Mr. Andrews, look at that sign.
Veronica, I'm not interested in any sign.
But it says, beware of the dog.
Veronica, I can read just as well as you can, and I know perfectly well that sign says, beware of the dog. What dog?
That dog.
Oh, boy, what a beast.
Oh, golly, run, Mr. Andrews. Run.
Get away, boys. Get away.
Quick, climb up that tree. Climb the tree, Mr.
Climb the
Andrews.
tree, Daddy. He can't reach you there.
Get away, boys. Get away.
Keep Oh, boy, he can't reach you now. Dad, you're safe.
Oh, I'm safe, am I? You call hanging here like a monkey wrapped around a flagpole being safe? That monster's just waiting for me to slip. Get rid of that dog.
But how, Dad?
I don't know. Call him.
Oh, okay, Dad. Here, boy. Here, boy.
Maybe it's a girl.
Don't be quiet. Get that dog away from me.
Archie, quick, get a stone.
What for?
To throw over in those bushes. If he's a good watchdog, he'll go rushing over there to see what the noise is, and your father can get back out here.
Hey, that's a good idea, Veronica. Hold on, Dad.
Here's a stone, Archie.
Thanks, Betty. Here goes. Go get it, boy. Go get it. Hey, hurry up down, Dad. Get down off that tree.
I am.
And close the gate after you.
Oh, boy, safe at last.
Oh, my goodness, you sure were lucky.
Golly, I'll say you were.
And how? One more minute and that beast would have had me. Veronica, would you mind explaining how come you live right around the corner and you didn't know there was a vicious dog here?
My goodness, Mr. Andrews, I did know it. That was one of the two things I was trying to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
Veronica, did you say two things you were trying to tell me?
Uh-huh.
And what is the other one?
Well, the other is that I heard my mother say the postmaster is the guest speaker at the Women's League luncheon today. So he isn't even home.
Isn't even home? Oh, no.
Gee whiz, Dad, do you think we ought to bother the postmaster at this luncheon?
Look, Archie, after what I've been through already, I'm going to get that letter back now if it kills me.
And it might, too.
Jughead, I can do without your remarks.
But my goodness, Mr. Andrews, aren't you afraid you'll upset the whole luncheon?
No, Veronica, I will not upset any luncheon. I just want to get to the postmaster for a minute and ask him if he'll find my letter for me. If he says he will, then we'll wait around till the luncheon is over. If he says he won't, then we'll just go home and forget the whole thing.
Tickets, please.
Yeah. Huh?
I said tickets, please.
Oh, tickets. Is this where the Women's League is having its luncheon?
That's right. Tickets are $10 apiece.
Yes, $10?
Yeah.
For a luncheon?
That's right. It's a fundraising affair.
Oh, fine. Well, look, mister, I don't want to raise any funds. I don't want any luncheon. I just want to talk to the postmaster for half a minute, and I'll come right out.
Sorry, I can't let anyone in without tickets. Them's my orders.
But this is an emergency. I'll only be in there half a minute.
Sorry, I can't let a mob like this go in there.
Oh, the kids aren't coming in with me. They'll wait here.
Just you going in?
That's right.
And you'll be right out?
I promise.
Well, all right. But don't let me catch you trying to eat any lunch without a ticket.
Oh, mister, lunch is the last thing I want right now.
Well, okay. Go ahead in.
All right. Thanks a lot, mister. Wait there, kids.
Okay, Dad, hurry.
Sure. Gotta find that postmaster. Let's see now. Oh, good grief. Can that be he making the speech at the head table?
Fred!
I'll bet it is he, all right.
Fred Andrews, what in the world are you doing here?
Mary, what are you doing here?
Well, this is the luncheon I was telling you about.
What on earth are you doing here?
I've got to see the postmaster.
Oh, for pity's sake. Well, sit down. He's speaking right now.
But, Mary, I can't stay here
Sit
too
down.
long.
People are starting to stare.
But the man said I couldn't...
Fred, sit down, please.
Oh, me, all right, Mary, all right. But will he be through soon? I can't stay very long.
Aha! I thought so.
Oh, the ticket taker. Mister,
I
look.
thought you looked like a gatecrasher.
Mister, I tell you, I
Fred,
didn't...
please, you're making a scene.
Oh, Dad, did you find him?
Archie,
Who let you kids in here?
Mister,
He
please.
said we couldn't come in.
Jughead,
My goodness, everyone's watching
Veronica,
us.
I
It's
know.
only we're upsetting everything.
Now, Betty, stop!
Either buy tickets or leave.
Now, just a minute
I don't
here.
know what
Just
happened.
1 minute. That's better. Now, listen to me, all of you. This nonsense has gone far enough, and I don't want to peep out of any one of you kids.
Yes, Dad.
Ladies, I am terribly sorry to have interrupted your luncheon like this. My humble apologies. I only wanted to see the postmaster on an important matter.
The postmaster? Fred, he just left.
He just left?
Yes, he finished his speech and had to catch a plane to Washington.
Oh, no. Mary, let's get out of here quick.
I'd like nothing better. Come on, children.
I apologize, ladies. Excuse me. I'm very sorry. Terribly sorry.
Well, Fred, I've never been so embarrassed in all my life.
Gee, me too, Dad.
Me too.
Oh, Mary, I'm sorry. Believe me.
I should think so.
I never intended to cause such a scene. And it's all my own fault, and only my own fault. It all happened because I wanted to get that letter back and save $50. Well, I can see now it's been more trouble than it's worth. So, I'm just going to forget the whole thing.
Well, I wish I could. I'll be hearing about this for weeks.
Well, look, Mary, dear. I'll do anything I can to make this up to you. Yes, sir, Mary. You may even have another new hat.
Fred, I can?
You certainly can.
Oh, that's very sweet, Fred.
It's
Thank you.
all right, dear. It's all right.
Oh.
Yeah, now let's just go home and forget this whole thing ever happened.
Hey, Mr. Andrews, is that you?
Who's that?
Oh, gee whiz, it's Mr. Pringle, our mailman.
Our mailman?
Boy, this sure is lucky running into you over here, Mr. Andrews. Saved me a trip clear across town.
What will save you a trip?
Meeting you here. I was just going to your house to return this letter to the Income Tax Bureau. You forgot to put a stamp on it.
I forgot to put a... The letter I've been chasing all afternoon? Oh,
boy.
No. What
The Andrews will be back in just a moment. But first, did you ever watch a building going up, floor by floor, carefully, deliberately, systematically it grows until the roof is on and the job is done? Well, that's the way you can build your future with United States defense bonds. And while your future grows, you help build up our nation's defense. The simple way to buy these defense bonds is through the payroll savings plan. Your savings will build up before you know it when you use the payroll savings plan. Yes, join the payroll savings plan where you work. Or, if you happen to be self-employed, the bond-a-month plan where you bank. Defense bonds are profitable, safe, and sure. They make you a shareholder in the greatest country on earth. Now, if you can't participate in a regular plan, buy an extra bond now at any bank or post office. Remember, defense is your job. Buy United States defense bonds. And now back to the Andrews. It's an hour later, and the Andrews have returned home and recovered from the harrowing experience of chasing the letter that came back anyway. We find Mr. Andrews at his desk in the living room, just finishing his revised income tax as Mrs. Andrews enters.
Fred, I'm home.
Home? Mary, I didn't even know you were out.
Well, dear, you were so busy revising that income tax, I didn't want to bother you. So I just went downtown and bought that new hat you said I could have.
New hat? Mary, another new hat?
But, Fred, you yourself told me to get it. And you can pay for it with the $50 you saved on your income tax.
Oh, Mary, that's just the trouble. I just refigured my income tax with that new deduction. I don't know how it happened, but I now owe $50 more than I did before.
You've been listening to another chapter of The Adventures of Archie Andrews, written by Carl Jampel and based on the copyrighted feature appearing in Archie Comics magazine. Archie is played by Bob Hastings, Jughead by Harlan Stone, Mom and Dad Andrews are played by Alice Sherman and Arthur Cole, Veronica and Betty by Gloria Mann and Rosemary Rice. Also in today's cast were Wendell Holmes, Nat Poland, and Donald Bain. This program is produced and directed by Kenneth McGregor. Listen next Saturday at the same time for more of the merry adventures of Archie Andrews. This is Dick Dudley wishing you a very pleasant weekend. So long, everybody.
That was Archie from 1951, and now going back in time to the Aldrich family. You know, Henry Aldrich could be seen in a couple of movies, like in 1941, Henry Aldrich for President, with Jimmy Linden as Henry.
Hello, Henry.
Hello.
I didn't get a chance to congratulate you on your nomination.
You don't have to. I'm not running.
Henry, you can't do that.
Oh, yes, I can.
I wish you'd told me about this before. You see, after I found out you were going to run, I resigned.
Then, gee whiz, why did you accept the nomination in the first place?
Well, someone had to try and stop Irwin Barry, and somebody still does.
Well, this is a grave responsibility, Phyllis, and I'm afraid that, well...
Don't you tell me you're afraid, Henry Aldrich. Do you want a snob like Irwin Barrett to win?
Oh, I don't know. I put my foot into it a lot of times to be in politics.
Franklin Roosevelt was president of the United States in 1941. After his death in 1945, Harry Truman became president.
After the tragic news of the death of our late Commander-in-Chief, it was my duty to speak promptly to the Congress and the armed forces of the United States. He never faltered, nor will we.
This episode is from March 3rd, 1949.
And now the Jell-O family presents...
Henry Aldrich.
Coming, Mother.
Yes, it's the Aldrich family based on characters originated by Clifford Goldsmith and starring Ezra Stone as Henry with Jackie Kelk as Homer. A typical teenage boy like Henry Aldrich lives in a world all his own. A very special world which adults can only understand and enter when they remember their own youth. The scene opens in the Aldrich bedroom. It is early morning.
Alice!
What now, Sam?
I can't find my socks.
Now, dear, calm down.
But I can't go to Washington, D.C. without my socks. It wouldn't be dignified.
You've already packed them.
I have? Oh, yes.
Sam, why do we have to pack now? Our train doesn't leave until 6 o'clock.
Alice, this is one trip we're going to start in an orderly fashion. That's the trouble with women. They never do things systematically. Where are my handkerchiefs?
In your top drawer.
Mother! Father!
Oh, dear. Henry, what's wrong?
Nothing. I just don't weigh enough.
Did he say weigh?
I'd better go see what's wrong.
No, Alice, you haven't started to do your own packing. I'll go.
Very well, Sam.
And while you're packing, will you look under the bureau for my other slipper? Now, Henry, what's the trouble?
I can't get this darn thing closed.
Henry, what are you doing with that steamer trunk?
I know it may look like I'm taking an awful lot, Father, but I give you my word, all I've packed is the everyday necessities of life.
You don't say.
Sure.
Would you mind lifting the lid?
But, Father...
Henry!
Yes, sir.
Well,
Father, before you say anything...
I would hardly call a baseball glove one of the necessities of life.
But, gee whiz, no one's ever been able to do it.
Do what?
Catch a ball thrown from the top of the Washington Monument. Don't you think I owe it to my country to at least try?
Henry, get rid of it.
But, Father...
And also get rid of this hunting knife.
But I'll need that, Father.
I hardly think so. From what I've heard, the hunting's pretty lean in Washington these days.
But suppose I want to sharpen a pencil.
Henry, please pack all your things in one suitcase.
But, Father, I won't fit.
You will if you forget the necessities of life and take just the luxuries, like socks and shirts and underwear.
Sam, will you please answer the phone?
Yes, Alice. Now hurry, Henry.
But I don't know how I'll ever manage.
You don't organize things properly. Alice, did you find my other slipper?
Yes, and I packed both your razors.
Why, two?
Dear, you always leave one on the train. You need one to leave in the hotel.
Alice. Hello.
Sam, this is Will Brown. And Sam, Homer won't need his longies, will he?
His what?
Longies, Sam, longies. Elizabeth says he'll need them in Washington, and I know he won't.
Washington? Homer's going to...
So what do you say, Sam? Pack them or don't pack them? Sam, are you there?
Yes, Will. I'm here.
What do you say, Sam?
Say?
About longies.
Why...
Suppose you ask Alice and call me back.
Yes, Will. I'll call you back.
Goodbye. And Sam, I certainly want to thank you for taking Homer along. You don't know what this means to our family.
Yes. Goodbye, Will. Henry.
He went up to the attic for Mary's suitcase.
When he comes down, tell him I want to speak to him.
Sam, you sound upset.
Upset? Alice, that was Will Brown on the phone.
Oh, yes? How is he?
Jubilantly happy.
He is?
I would be, too, if Homer were my son and I thought I was packing him off to Washington for a week.
Sam, may I explain one thing about that?
Then you knew, Alice?
Sam, please sit down.
Yes, Alice. I'm seated.
Well, you see, dear...
Yes, Alice?
Well, you see, Henry and Homer talked the whole thing over, but it wasn't entirely Henry's fault.
You don't say.
Now, Sam, it was only natural for them to say how nice it would be if Homer could go. And I agreed with them, and... Dear, you know how the Browns jump at conclusions.
I see.
But that's the whole story, Sam.
I see. May I stand up now?
Yes, dear.
Now, suppose you sit down.
But, dear...
Alice?
Yes, Sam, I'm seated.
Alice, before I begin, I'd like to make one thing clear. I have nothing against Homer. I'm really very fond of him. under it all, way down deep. But this is more than a business trip. I've been looking forward to it as a welcome change.
Yes.
And one of the most welcome changes was going to be an entire week without Homer. Now, that doesn't sound unreasonable, does it?
No, sir.
Besides, Alice, you don't realize all the trouble I went to get the train tickets and make hotel reservations. I simply can't go through all that again.
Dear, I admit it was probably a mistake, but the thing is, Henry's got his heart set on Homer going with us.
Then he'll just have to unset it. Letting Homer come along would be like taking your mother-in-law on your honeymoon.
Sam Aldrich, there's absolutely no comparison.
Homer, let's not argue. Pack those longies.
But, Father, they tickle me.
They tickle me, too. But your mother showed me a map, and it's just as far north as it is south.
My longies are?
No, Washington.
But I can't get them in my suitcase.
Sure you can if you pack intelligently.
But, Father...
let me get that suitcase. Now, we'll take some of this stuff on the bottom and put it on the... Homer, what's this?
My rattlesnake.
What?
He's stuffed, Father.
Homer... what makes you think Mr. Aldrich will take both you and a stuffed rattlesnake?
But I'm going to donate it to the Smithsonian Institute. He's an antique.
Now, Homer.
Sure he is. Gee whiz, I've had him nearly 5 years myself.
Homer, are you in your room?
Sure, Hen.
Now, Homer, remember what I said. Don't forget your longies.
Hi, Homer, old timer.
Hi, Hen. Boy, you came just at the right time. Could you help me close this bag?
Well, Homer...
Every time I try to sit on the lid, it practically throws me over the end of the bed.
There's something I have to tell you.
Yeah, what?
Well, first I have a little something for you.
For me?
Sure. My hunting knife.
Gee, you're giving me that?
Sure, old pal. And gee, when you think of my father, just remember he's been working pretty hard lately.
He has?
And gee whiz, Homer, I give you my word, underneath it all, he really likes you.
He does?
Underneath it all.
Henry, old-timer.
Yes, Homer, old pal?
Look me in the eye.
There.
Now tell me the truth. Is something wrong?
I'll say there is. Homer, you're not going with us.
Oh.
Homer, don't take it that way.
What way? Gee whiz, I'm not taking it anyway.
You're not?
Gee whiz, just because I've been looking forward... I mean, it isn't so tragic. Look at me. I'm smiling.
You are?
I'm not.
Well, sure you are, Homer. And why don't you sit down while I unpack your rattlesnake for you?
Hello?
Hello, am I speaking to Harold Green?
Yeah, who's this?
Will Brown over in Centerville, Harold.
Oh, hello, Will. We were delighted to get your note saying you could come out for the weekend.
Yes. Well, Harold, that's why I called.
And don't forget to bring your golf clubs, Will.
Golf clubs? No, I won't forget. And, look, do you mind if I bring Homer, too?
Homer?
Yes.
Your son?
Yes. He caddies for me all the time, you see, and I just thought...
But, Will, I thought Homer was going to Washington with the Aldriches.
I thought so, too, but now it seems they can't take him. So we're stuck with him. We can't very well leave him alone all weekend.
Well, in that case, naturally, bring him along.
You don't mind?
Not at all. There won't be any other youngsters around, though.
None at all?
That's the way we planned this weekend. No youngsters, just adults.
Oh.
But bring him along, Will. We'll find something he can do.
Sure. That's one thing about Homer. You can hand him a magazine and then forget about him.
Sure. What made Sam change his mind about taking him to Washington?
Well, you know how much trouble an extra boy can be.
Homer? Trouble?
Well...
Homer?
It isn't only that. Naturally, it's... Well, I just checked the ticket office myself, and there isn't a berth to be had on the train Sam's taking.
But, Will,
And Homer's so disappointed about the whole thing that I'm sure if we brought him up to your place, it might help to cheer him up.
But, Will, wait. Why should Homer be disappointed? Let's sit down and think.
Hello?
Hello, Homer. Goodbye.
What's that?
This is Agnes. Goodbye, kid, and have a nice trip.
But, Agnes...
Boy, when I think of you being away for a whole week. boy, I don't know how I'll stand it.
But that's just it, Agnes.
I'll be miserable at the dance Saturday night.
Look, about the dance.
Forget it, kid. What's being miserable compared to you in Washington, expanding your mind?
But that's it, Agnes. I've suddenly decided not to go.
What?
I've been thinking about it, and, gee, what's Washington? I mean, it's a place everybody's dying to go to, sure. But what is it?
Homer, tell me the truth. Why aren't you going?
Well, Agnes, have you tried getting on a train lately?
What?
Boy, and hotels. Hotels, Agnes.
What about them?
Gee, they're worse than trains. Besides, there's my schoolwork. You don't think I could leave my education for a week with a free mind?
Isn't Henry leaving his?
Sure, but he has official permission from Mr. Bradley. So I guess I'll be taking you to the dance Saturday night, after all.
The dance? How can you? I've got a heavy date with Charlie Clark.
What? You're standing me up, too?
Hey, Homer.
Homer, we'll figure out something. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Boy, Homer, old pal, have I got good news for you?
I'm going to Washington.
Not exactly. But I've arranged a swell weekend for you. You're staying with my Aunt Harriet.
What?
Gee, you'll have a swell time. You can play cribbage with her and watch her do needlepoint.
Yeah?
How does that sound?
Terrible.
But, Homer, when I suggested it to your father, he thought it was a great idea.
He did.
Sure. If your folks can unload you on my Aunt Harriet, they can go up to the Greens for the weekend.
They don't want me either?
Homer.
That's a fine thing. You don't want me. My parents don't want me. Agnes doesn't want me. Okay.
Homer.
Okay. But if you think I'm going to stay home with your Aunt Harriet's rheumatism while you're having the time of your life in Washington, you're crazy.
Homer, I'm just trying...
Never mind feeling sorry for me. Goodbye, Henry Aldrich.
Homer, you're shoving me out.
And here.
What's this?
Your hunting knife. You can't bribe me.
Listen, Homer.
And here's that keychain you gave me for Christmas. It only cost $25 anyway.
But, Homer...
Besides, that fall-leaf clover on it never brought me luck anyway. Goodbye.
Homer, you're not listening to reason.
Take a letter, Miss Thompson.
Yes, Mr. Aldrich. Frankly, I'm a little surprised to see you in the office today.
Well, I thought it might be a good idea to get out of the house and why go to Washington with unfinished business hanging over you?
Yes, Mr. Aldrich.
Take a letter to Mr. J.B. Fletcher, Home Industries Development Corporation. Dear Homer.
Dear who?
Fletcher. Dear Mr. Fletcher. Yours of the 18th received, and I can readily understand the difficulties involved in changing your entire suitcase.
Entire what?
Filing system. However, I feel that once the facts have been weighed and a stand taken, it is unwise to listen to those who may not be as familiar with the many sides of the problem as you are. Yours truly, Samuel Aldrich. That makes sense, doesn't it, Miss Thompson?
Yes, Mr. Aldrich, although... Have you ever thought of it this way? Two boys are a lot easier to entertain than one.
Now, just a moment, Miss Thompson.
Well, it was just a suggestion, Mr. Aldrich.
I've had all the suggestions I can use. Thank you. Come in.
Am I interrupting, Mr. Aldrich?
Oh, no, Mr. Bradley. Come in.
Thank you.
Miss Thompson, suppose you get that letter off.
Oh, yes, Mr. Aldrich. My goodness.
I can only stay a minute. I was on my way home and just dropped in to say that as far as the school is concerned, we have no objection.
I beg your pardon?
I'm sure a trip to Washington will do Homer a great deal of good, and it certainly can't do the school any harm.
Now, just a moment, Mr. Bradley. I have nothing against Homer Brown, but this is one trip I'm going on alone with just my family.
You mean Homer is not going?
Definitely not.
Well, I didn't mean to interfere. That is, I got the idea from Agnes that all that was necessary was my official permission.
Agnes was wrong, Mr. Bradley. And I'm sure you can appreciate my position.
Of course. Well, I'll run along. Next week was going to be such a pleasant change with Homer and Henry in Washington.
Goodbye, Mr. Bradley.
Bye.
I've got it, Miss Thompson. Hello.
Sam, this is Harold Green.
Oh, yes, Harold. Say those contracts of yours will have to wait until I get back from Washington.
Oh, that's okay, but that isn't why I called. Sam, I've got you all fixed up.
Fixed up? How?
A very good friend of mine is the passenger agent for the railroad, and as a favor to me, he really buckled down and got 'em.
Got what?
4 berths for Washington.
What?
Only you'll have to take another train that gets in 12 hours later.
What?
But at least 15 minutes earlier.
Now, wait a minute.
And make a note of this, Sam. You change trains at 4 in the morning in Pittsburgh.
Now, wait a minute. Oh, excuse me. I'd like to pick up some tickets for Aldrich.
Hi there, Mr. Aldrich.
Gus, what are you doing behind the ticket window?
Selling tickets. It's my new job, Mr. Aldrich. Nice indoor work.
Well, would you...
Meet a nice class of people here. You never see the same face twice. You come to pick up your tickets, huh?
Yes. 3 berths on the 6 o'clock train.
You're canceling the 4 on the 5:45?
I am.
All right, if you say so. So you're going to Washington, D.C., huh? Nice town, Washington.
I'm sure.
Yeah, real credit to the country. I was there for the inauguration, you know.
That's so?
Sirree, Bob. I had quite a time. That McKinley turned out to be quite a president, too.
McKinley?
William, or was it Taft? Let's see. It was back in '08. No, it wasn't. It was '01.
Gus.
Or was it Teddy Roosevelt?
Gus, I'm sure I...
Well, it was back when we had a Republican. I remember that. Hardly a man is now alive. Sirree, Bob. You ought to have a real nice time.
Well, frankly, Gus, I'm not too sure.
Not so? Why?
All I've heard all day is Homer Brown, Homer Brown. Gets pretty discouraging.
Yes, I could see where it would.
Gus, you have no idea the pressure that's been put on me. But, Gus, I'm not going to budge.
That's right, Mr. Aldrich. A man, if he is a man, that is, has got to be free to make up his own mind.
Well, I'm glad to hear someone say that.
Here's your tickets.
Oh, thank you.
Only, if you don't mind my mentioning it, there's no overlooking the fact that travel, it broadens a young man.
Now, just a minute.
I got to agree with your missus there. Now,
Gus, I've got to get back to my family in the waiting room.
Okay. Have a good time.
Thank you.
Oh, it was Coolidge. Grace Coolidge's husband, Calvin Coolidge. That's what it was.
What?
I've been looking all over the station for you.
Now, just a moment, Homer.
Mr. Aldrich, I've been thinking it over, and gee whiz, why be a sorehead?
What?
I mean, gee whiz, we've been friends for a long time, and, well, now that you're really on your way, have a good time, Mr. Aldrich. Here.
What? A basket of fruits.
Yes, sir. To eat on the train. If there seemed to be a few pieces missing, I just wanted to be sure everything was fresh.
Homer, I hardly...
And here's something else I'd like you to have, Mr. Aldrich. A map of the city of Washington. I wrote away for it last week.
Thank you, Homer.
I've got it all marked, see? You start at the White House the first day, see, and follow the red line. Then the second day you start at the...
Well, you really got this all planned out, haven't you?
I've sort of been fooling around with it all week. Here. Well, bon voyage, Mr. Aldrich. And shake.
Homer...
Shake, Mr. Aldrich?
Yes, Homer, shake.
Shake.
Shake. And Homer...
Yes, Mr. Aldrich?
Homer, all of us make mistakes sometimes in our lives, and I'd like to say that this is one time I've made one.
You, Mr. Aldrich?
Yes, me, Homer. I know it's too late now, but I sincerely wish you were going with us.
You really want to take me?
Yes, if it weren't too late.
Gee, why is it too late?
But why? You would have to go all the way home and pack.
No, I wouldn't. I've got my suitcase checked right here in the station.
What?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Homer, what's the matter?
Homer.
Wait till you hear. Wait till you hear, Henry.
What?
Guess who's going to Washington?
Sam, are you up? Sam, wake up. We're coming into Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh? Unless we're going to Washington.
Yes, dear, but this is where we change trains.
Oh, yes. Is it 4 in the morning already?
Yes, dear. The boys are getting our bags out to the platform. Are you dressed?
I didn't undress. 4 in the morning.
Sam, I'm very proud of you.
Yes?
After all the pressure we put on you, you're really taking the whole thing very nicely.
Forget it, Alice. I had a feeling all along I was fighting a losing battle.
Now, dear, don't worry. I'm sure Homer won't be any trouble at all. Why, so far you could hardly tell he's along.
You could hardly tell he's along, but he's been sleeping right above me. 3 times he went to the washroom for a glass of water. 3 times he managed to step on my face getting down.
Say, dear, quiet. You wake up the whole car.
But it's Homer, Mother. There's something wrong with him.
Oh, dear.
He's just sitting on his bags down there at the end of the car, and he won't say a word.
Sam, do you suppose he's train sick?
With all the water he's been drinking, it's more likely seasick.
We gotta go see what's wrong. Homer, dear, what's happened?
Gee, Mrs. Aldrich, I feel terrible.
What is it, Homer, old-timer? Your sinus again?
No,
You didn't try to finish that whole basket of fruit, did you?
it isn't that. It's the wheels.
What wheels?
Of the train. Listen to them. Clickety-clack, clickety-clack, clickety-clack.
They make you dizzy?
No, but they just made me realize we're getting further and further away from Centerville all the time.
What?
Further away from all my friends.
Now, Homer.
Further away from my mother and father.
Homer.
Mr. Aldrich, when we get off at Pittsburgh, can I get a train going back the other way?
Now, wait a minute.
The Aldrich Family, starring Ezra Stone as Henry with Jackie Kelk as Homer, is written by Norman Tokar and Ed Jurist with music by Jack Miller. Mr. and Mrs. Aldrich are House Jameson and Catherine Roth. And this is Dan Seymour in New York saying, the Aldrich Family is brought to you by the Jell-O Family.
Oh, the big red letters stand for the Jell-O family. Oh, the big red letters stand for the Jell-O family. That's Jell-O.
Yum, yum, yum.
Jell-O puddings. Yum, yum, yum. Jell-O tapioca puddings. Yes, sirree.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Gee Whiz. If you'd like to say hello to me, you can find me on Twitter at ThisDayBenny. And don't forget to mail your taxes.